Hello, friends. This is Maureen Lee Maloney, and welcome back to My Doc Journey, the show where I reveal every step in my process of creating a feature-length documentary, even the steps where I fall down and cry. Big news, you guys! This past week, I scheduled the first ever event date for Voice of Vanilla. I'm going to be having a fundraiser at Vapor Distillery in Boulder, Colorado on October 23rd. So if you're around, you should definitely come to that. I have created a Facebook event page for it, which I'll share on the My Doc Journey Facebook page. And if you don't know about Vapor Distillery, they have lots of great, obviously, liquors that they create there, but they also make a coffee liqueur that includes Madagascar vanilla. And they pretty much boast on their website about using the whole vanilla bean directly from Madagascar. So it's pretty cool. They're going to be creating some fancy vanilla-inspired drinks for that night. They're going to be doing tours of the distillery. The event is going to be free. A portion of the profits from the cocktails they sell are going to go to support the film. So very, very cool there. And hopefully going to have some fun games and some fun food trucks and stuff like that. So we'll see. I'll keep you updated. I also had a meeting with a professional fundraiser. Her name is Shayao, and she's actually the founder of Project Careaoki, which is an organization that helps local nonprofits by creating fun and unique fundraising events for them. I originally met her during Boulder Startup Week because I was volunteering. We were both actually volunteering, and we, got to talking, and we set up a skill swap, which I love. So she is going to be giving me some fundraising advice. I'm going to be helping her with photos. And yeah, I just love that kind of barter. So I met with her this past weekend and she gave me some really great advice, which, hey, I'm going to share with you guys. So the first thing she told me, and she's so good at this because she's such like an outgoing, effervescent person, but that is to talk to everyone about your event or your project. And don't worry about how you think they're going to react. Just have the conversation with them. This speaks to a larger issue. Another thing that I've read about that's really struck me, which is beware of your negative expectations. If you go out into the world thinking that, people are not going to be supportive of you, you will act differently. Based on your beliefs of how somebody's going to react to you, you are going to act differently towards them. You will act differently if you go into a situation expecting someone to be supportive versus expecting someone to be negative towards you. Your expectations really do create a self-fulfilling prophecy. So make sure you're expecting your desired outcome instead of the negative outcome. Or at least if you can't, convince yourself that the positive outcome will happen, try to at least clear your mind of the negative outcome. Okay, the next thing she said was to always have a donation package to give to any business you patronize. So your local coffee shop, your favorite restaurant, wherever you go, you should have a donation form and letter and an event flyer that you can give to people there. And again, going back to talking to everyone about your project or your event, she says, wherever you go, talk to the people there, see if they might be interested in supporting, and have that package that you can leave with them. And again, that package should have a donation form, a donation letter, and an event flyer. Thirdly, she said to make a list of people and or businesses who could benefit from your event and reach out to them. And make sure you have a really good idea of what's in it for them so that when you approach them, you can say, hey, if you support my event, you can benefit from it in this way. Would you be interested? And then she said, you should have a sponsorship agreement. And this is really to protect you, to make sure that sponsors follow through on their end with what they say they're going to do. Some of the things that I asked her about specifically, because I'm struggling with a little bit, and I've mentioned these to you guys before. I asked her about social media posts, and especially now that I have social media going for my podcast and my film and my web series, Girl Aspiring, I feel sometimes like I'm drowning in social media here. She suggested coming up with 5 to 10 items and just rotating them. So some of the examples she gave me were past events. You can create a post about past events, about current or upcoming events, updates to upcoming events, what you or your company does, upcoming projects. You can ask a question like, hey, are you interested in X topic related to my project? Or do you want to check out this place, like for instance, Vapor Distillery? And basically, right there, that's like 7 or 8 posts, and you can just keep rotating those, is what she suggested, to make your life easier so you're not drowning in social media responsibilities like I feel like I am. And then finally, I asked her about corporate sponsors and the best way to sort of reach out to them, because I've been making some calls, leaving messages, and then never hearing back. I feel like I'm getting nowhere basically right now with my corporate sponsors. She suggested, number 1, to make sure that you're reaching out to the marketing department and not the sales department, because marketing is going to be interested in ways to get the word out about their company. And then some of the benefits to the company that she mentioned that could be really helpful are to include their logo on all your blog posts, all your email blasts, and the merchandise that you have at your different events. So that was some helpful information for me just to get started with. We just had a quick meeting, and I'll definitely be in touch with her more, and I'll definitely update you guys on the stuff that I'm learning. So there's another big thing that I've started feeling this week because I leave for Madagascar on September 7th. I'm going for a month to get the film started, and I am feeling really nervous and kind of scared. And for no real reason, right? I mean, this is the deal with fear. Your mind is always trying to protect you, and it loves a sense of security and stability. It's kind of like having your mom living inside your head. And that's cool. Hey, I appreciate that you want to keep me safe, but you don't know everything. It's kind of like that quote from a few weeks ago, a ship in port is safe, but not so much, not always. So how do I kind of deal with this fear? I mean, a little bit is I just live with it, and say, I'm not going to let this fear stop me. I'm going to move forward. But of course, I do want to try to find ways to mitigate or lessen that sense of anxiety that's kind of like just there under the surface for me. I think it's helpful to think about what's the worst that could happen. Of course, the worst that could happen is that you could die, but that's going to happen anyway, and nobody knows when or how. It could literally be any way. I mean, the number of car fatalities in Colorado so far this year alone is over 300. That means in Colorado alone, 2 people a day are dying in car accidents. So, staying here in Colorado and just driving to work is not necessarily safer than anything else I could be doing. You could be attacked, okay? Hey, take self-defense classes. I'm actually surprised more people don't do this, especially women. And especially, parents with young girls who always want to make you feel afraid about the world's out to get you. And yet, are your daughters in Krav Maga or Jiu-Jitsu classes? Probably not. Probably the thing that we're most afraid of is being humiliated. And like I've said before, no matter what you do, no matter who you are, someone is going to hate on you. So just remember, what's worse than all of these fates? In my opinion, it's never attempting your dreams. It's never doing the things that you want to do and having these desires and ideas inside of you that are slowly dying. Now, I'm not saying you're going to overcome your fear here, but guess what? It doesn't matter. You can do stuff despite being afraid. And every time you accomplish something that scares you, your comfort zone expands a little bit. I've done a lot of this. I'm scared. I'm going to be scared until I land in Madagascar and for who knows how long after. I'm scared of making this podcast because what if something goes terribly wrong with the film and everybody knows about it then? Everybody who's listening. All 4 people who are listening to this right now. But what if people think it's the worst podcast ever? Well, you don't have to listen to it, Dick, so F off. Just kidding. Please stay. Don't leave me. Okay, so that's my spiel on fear, and just know that if you're feeling afraid, everybody else who's attempting stuff like this is feeling afraid too. And anybody who says they're not feeling afraid is full of crap. But don't let it stop you. That's the message. That's the point. Okay, so I've been working this week on putting together a social media campaign, like I mentioned. I already have a lot of the stuff going. I'm going to be building a website for my duck journey. It's going to be really simple. Like all of my websites, I'm not putting in a ton of time or money into these things. I don't think that's worth it. That's not the point of why I'm doing anything. But obviously, having a pretty website is important and easily navigatable. Whatever. So to start out with, I'm going to be focusing on those posts that Shayao told me, and they're going to be in the show notes. I'm going to have all this in the show notes for you to look at. I'm also going back to lynda.com, which is free through your library, probably. It's definitely free through the Denver library. They've got lots of social media marketing tips and videos on there. So I've been watching a few of those. And coming up soon, you guys, be on the lookout for this. I'm hopefully going to get it finished in the next week or 2. I'm putting together an ebook because I always have a hard time deciding what topic I'm going to cover in each one of these podcasts because I want to cover everything at once because I feel like you need to have all the information at once, right? So the ebook is going to have an overview of all the different topics that we're eventually going to be diving into more deeply here on the podcast, but something to help you get started so that you have like a pretty good basis of all the different topics that you're going to need to start getting out there and making your own films. So please, if you're listening to this and you have any thoughts or ideas on what you'd like to hear, let me know. If you have any questions on topics that we've covered already, let me know. Please head over to Facebook and join our Facebook group and let us know about the projects that you're working on. If you have a YouTube page or a Vimeo page, post links up there so we can see your videos. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this week, guys. So I hope you're having a great week. And I will talk to you later. Bye.